Why would any family put themselves through this much public humiliation year after year? We have watched the Potthast family scream, cry, throw drinks, and tear each other apart for seasons on end. Fans call them thirsty, critics call them desperate. But ask yourself a terrifying question. What if they aren't chasing clout? What if they are running for their lives? The answer to why they stay is simple and chilling. They can't leave. A sealed court filing recently made public through what appears to be a clerical error at the courthouse reveals that the Potthast family is allegedly suing Sharp Entertainment in a desperate attempt to break a contract that sources are now calling television slavery. We are looking at a scenario where their on-screen misery is real, because their real life has become a television show they are legally forbidden to quit. This isn't just reality TV drama anymore. This is a hostage situation broadcast in prime time. Before we unlock the secrets of the Potthast prison and reveal the traitor hiding within the family ranks, make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to 90 Day Fiancé Universe. Turn on notifications so you are the first to know the secrets the network tries to bury. We are digging deeper than anyone else, and you do not want to miss what comes next. Let's dismantle the biggest lie you have been sold about this family. The foundational lie is that Chuck, Andrei, Elizabeth, and her sisters are willing participants who can walk away at any time. We look at them and think they must love the attention, even the negative attention, because otherwise, why would they keep signing the release forms? Why would Chuck keep hosting these disastrous family barbecues if he knew they were going to end in a brawl? The narrative we have uncovered suggests that after their first successful season on Happily Ever After, the family was approached with what looked like a golden ticket. It was a massive, long-term contract with huge upfront bonuses that promised to change their financial lives forever. At the time, they were hungry for fame and the money looked incredible. But buried in the fine print, hidden beneath pages of legal jargon, were perpetuity clauses and astronomical financial penalties for quitting. We are talking about clauses that effectively gave the network control over their lives, not just for a season, but for up to 15 years. We have obtained an image of a screenshot that has been circulating in private Discord servers and insider forums. It looks like a standard court docket, but the names on it are explosive. It lists Potthast, Charles versus Sharp Entertainment, LLC. This document, which was allegedly scrubbed from the public record shortly after it appeared, indicates a battle over breach of contract and unconscionable terms. This is the smoking gun. It suggests that for the last 3 years, the fights we have seen on TV aren't script meetings gone wrong. They are the result of a family cracking under the pressure of forced performance. We spoke with a source claiming to be a former network executive who worked on reality productions during the time this contract would have been signed. This insider explains the concept of the golden handcuff contract. They told us that when a network finds a lightning-in-a-bottle family like the Potthasts, they lock them down. The contract allegedly states that if any primary family member refuses to film, the entire family is in breach. That means if Elizabeth wants to quit, she isn't just walking away from a paycheck. She is liable for millions of dollars in production delays and damages, and she would be sued for the bonuses paid to her father and sisters. They are weaponized against each other. They are forced to police one another because if one leaves, they all fall. Look at the progression of the family's fights through this lens. Go back and watch the early seasons. The spats were smaller, they were about petty things. Now, look at the recent seasons. The altercations are violent. They are desperate. Chuck's tears, which many fans mock, take on a much darker context. You are not watching a man crying because his daughters are fighting. You are watching a man crying because he realizes he signed his family away. He trapped his children in a cage he cannot unlock. The escalating drama is a symptom of the psychological toll of being unable to escape the cameras. They are like rats in a maze that has no exit, snapping at each other because the stress is unbearable. The leak suggests that the Potthast family finally reached a breaking point earlier this year. They pooled their resources and hired a high-powered entertainment law firm to file this suit, arguing that the contract terms are inhumane and violate labor laws. They are trying to argue that the emotional distress caused by the show is causing irreparable harm. But here's where the story turns into a thriller. The network isn't just sitting back. According to insider theories, the network has filed a countersuit for breach of contract and defamation, seeking damages that would financially ruin the Potthasts for life. We are talking about bankruptcy, losing their homes, losing their business licenses. The network is playing hardball. But the most disturbing part of this legal battle is the motion to compel. Sources indicate the network has filed a motion to force the family to continue filming even while the lawsuit is active. This is why the cameras are still rolling. The network is arguing that until a judge declares the contract void, the Potthasts must fulfill their obligations. This means the family is being forced to televise their own legal battle against the people filming them. Every time you see them look exhausted, every time you see them scream at a producer, that is real frustration. They are being forced to perform for their captors. However, the family's attempt to escape has hit a snag that no one saw coming: a betrayal from within. While Chuck and Andrei are trying to lead the charge to get the family out of this contract, there is a mole in the camp. Our investigation into insider whispers points to Becky. The theory is compelling and terrifying. Becky has allegedly cut a side deal with the network. While her family fights for their freedom, Becky is reportedly working as a double agent. Why would she do this? The answer is ambition and self-preservation. Rumors are swirling that the network has offered Becky a golden parachute. If she cooperates, if she keeps the drama high, and if she feeds the network's lawyers information about her father's legal strategy, she will be rewarded. The reward is allegedly her own spinoff show, tentatively titled Becky Means Business, and full coverage of her personal legal fees. Becky has done the math. She believes the lawsuit is doomed. She thinks her father can't win against a media giant. So she has decided that if she can't get out, she might as well be the star. This explains the shift in Becky's behavior. Have you noticed how she instigates conflicts that seem to come out of nowhere? Have you noticed how she presses buttons that she knows will cause an explosion? She isn't just being dramatic, she is fulfilling her quota. She is sabotaging the family's unity because a unified family might actually win the lawsuit. A fractured family makes for good TV, and good TV is what keeps her overlords happy. Imagine the dinner table conversations. Chuck is trying to discuss legal strategy with his children, trying to find a way to save them, unaware that his own daughter is recording the conversation to send to the opposing counsel. It is Shakespearean in its tragedy. The tension we see between Elizabeth and her sisters is often framed as jealousy, but under this theory, it is actually suspicion. Elizabeth and Andrei seem to suspect something is wrong. They have become more isolated, more defensive. They sense that there is a leak, but they can't prove it. Andrei's aggression, usually seen as him being a bully, might actually be him trying to protect his wife and father-in-law from a threat he can feel but cannot see. He is trying to enforce boundaries in a world where they have no rights. Let's look deeper at the television slavery claim. The anonymous executive we referenced earlier broke down the mechanics of these contracts. They utilize what are called cascading options. Technically, the show is renewed one season at a time, giving the illusion of choice. But the contract states the network has the exclusive right to pick up that option, and the talent has no right to refuse. If the network says jump, the talent must jump. If the network says throw a glass of wine, you throw the glass. Refusal triggers the default clause. The default clause implies that you must pay back every cent earned in previous seasons, plus interest, plus estimated lost revenue for the network. For a show as popular as 90 Day Fiancé, that lost revenue is calculated in the tens of millions. The Potthasts are effectively indentured servants to the algorithm. This context completely reframes the family business storyline. We always wonder why they fight so hard over the house-flipping business. It seems petty, but if the TV money is actually a debt trap, and if they are being sued into oblivion, the family business is the only real asset they have left. They are fighting over scraps because it's the only money the network can't touch yet. Chuck is trying to keep the business afloat not just for his legacy, but because it might be the only thing keeping them from homelessness if the lawsuit goes south. The psychological warfare is intense. We have heard reports that production crews are instructed to isolate the family members from each other before scenes. They feed them misinformation. They tell Elizabeth that Becky was talking trash about her in the green room. They tell Charlie that Andrei called him a loser. They wind them up like toys and set them loose. In a normal job, you can report this to HR, but here, the harassment is the job description. The court filing allegedly cites intentional infliction of emotional distress as a primary cause of action. The family is claiming that the production team is deliberately destroying their mental health to manufacture content. And what about Charlie? Charlie has been the villain for so long. His behavior at the wedding, his drinking, his erratic speeches, we judge him. But look at him as a victim of this system. If you were trapped in a contract you didn't understand, forced to film with people you resent, facing financial ruin, and having your worst moments broadcast to the world, how would you cope? Charlie's substance issues and outbursts are consistent with someone suffering from extreme acute stress. He is lashing out at the cameras because he hates them. He is trying to make himself unfilmable. He is trying to become such a liability that they fire him. But the network loves it. They don't fire him, they promote him. His rebellion is monetized. He tries to break free by being a disaster, and the contract just tightens its grip. The role of social media plays into this conspiracy as well. The family is notoriously active online, often posting cryptic messages or engaging in wars with fans. The lawsuit theory suggests that they are not in control of their own social media. Part of the 360 deal in these mega contracts often grants the network administration rights to their verified accounts. When you see a post from Elizabeth defending the show or a post from Chuck promoting a new episode, there is a high probability that a social media intern at the network posted it, not them. They are digital puppets. This would explain why their online personas sometimes contradict their real-life actions. They are trying to signal for help, but the network deletes the posts. We need to talk about the clerical error that leaked this docket. How does a sealed document get out? Usually, it doesn't, unless someone wants it to. There's a theory that perhaps the leak came from Chuck's legal team intentionally. A calculated slip. By leaking the existence of the lawsuit, they are trying to try the case in the court of public opinion. They want us to know. They want the fans to start asking questions. They are hoping that public pressure will force the network to settle. They are screaming for help through a PDF file. And what of the network's defense? If this goes to trial, the network will argue that the Potthast are adults who signed a contract. They will show the checks. They will show the vacations. They will argue that fame has a price and the family was happy to pay it until the audience turned on them. It is a classic case of corporate power versus individual regret. But the question remains, is a contract valid if it strips you of your basic human rights to privacy and autonomy? Can you legally sign away your freedom for 15 years? Let's circle back to Becky's betrayal. If the rumors of Becky Means Business are true, it represents the ultimate victory of the corporation over the family unit. It proves that the network can break any bond by offering the right price. Becky is reportedly holding secret meetings with producers, feeding them storylines that humiliate her siblings. She is the architect of her own family's destruction. Convinced she is building an empire, she looks at the Kardashians and thinks she can be Kim, leaving the rest behind. But she fails to realize that she is just trading one cell for a slightly nicer cell in the same prison. The next phase of this legal battle is critical, the discovery phase. This is where the Potthasts can demand internal emails from the network. Imagine what those emails might say. Producers mocking the family, executives discussing how to trigger Charlie's drinking, strategists planning exactly how to pit the sisters against each other. If those emails come out, it destroys the illusion of reality TV forever. It proves it is a psychological experiment. The network will do anything to stop discovery. They will offer settlements. They will threaten. They will delay. As we watch the current season, we are watching a documentary of a legal war. Every scene carries the weight of this secret litigation. When Andrei screams at Chuck, he isn't just mad about house flipping. He is screaming, "Boss, why did you sign that paper? Why did you do this to us?" When Elizabeth cries, she is mourning the life she could have had. The audience laughs, tweets, and judges, unaware that we are the jury in a trial we didn't know was happening. We are the consumers of their pain. This situation raises ethical questions about the entire industry. If the Potthast lawsuit is real, it could set a precedent that collapses the reality TV model. If a judge rules that these perpetuity contracts are unenforceable, it frees thousands of reality stars. It would be the end of the golden handcuff era. But if the network wins, it cements their power. It means they own the people on your screen. They own their names, their likenesses, and their trauma. We have to consider the possibility that the recent physical fights were actually staged by the family in a frantic attempt to breach the contract's morality clause. Most contracts have a clause that allows the network to fire talent if they commit a crime or act in a way that brings shame to the brand. Is it possible the Potthasts are brawling on purpose, trying to get fired? Are they trying to be too violent for TV? The tragedy is, on this network, violence doesn't get you fired. It gets you a bonus. Their escape plan backfired because the bar for shameful behavior is so low, they can't crawl under it. There's also the matter of the children, the grandchildren. They're growing up on camera. Are they signed to contracts too? The insider reports suggest that the family definition in the contract extends to offspring. This means the next generation of Potthasts is already owned. They were born into debt. They are being groomed to take over the drama when Chuck retires. It is a generational curse, signed in ink. the silence from the family on this specific topic is deafening. Usually they deny rumors instantly. When fans say they are broke, they post stacks of cash. When fans say they are fake, they post angry videos. But on the topic of the lawsuit, silence. Total radio silence. In the legal world, silence is often the loudest admission. They can't talk about it because of the gag order. The sealed nature of the case prevents them from confirming or denying. Their silence is proof. Becky's potential spinoff is the carrot on the stick. But what is the stick? The stick is total destruction. The network allegedly has footage that has never been aired. Compromising footage. Things said in confidence when microphones were hot. They are holding this over the family's head. Drop the lawsuit, or we air the tapes. It is blackmail legalized by a release form. We are witnessing the dark side of the American dream. The desire for fame, the quick signature, the realization that you have sold your soul. The Potthasts are not villains. They are cautionary tales. They are what happens when you invite a vampire into your home. You can't just ask them to leave. Stay tuned, because in the second part of this report, we are going to dive into the specific details of Becky's secret meetings, the exact dollar amounts of the penalties facing the family, and the shocking alliance Andrei has formed with a rival network to try and buy their freedom. You think you know the drama, but you have no idea. Welcome back to the investigation that is shaking the foundation of reality television. If you thought the family betrayal ended with a simple lawsuit, you are wrong. We are now entering the heart of the conspiracy, where the numbers get astronomical and the alliances become shocking. We left off with the revelation that Becky Potthast may be operating as a mole for the network, sabotaging her own family's legal battle in exchange for fame. But we have uncovered details about this betrayal that paint an even darker picture. According to logs from a private scheduling server used by industry assistants, which were anonymously flagged to our research team, Becky was allegedly spotted in New York City 3 weeks ago. While her social media posted throwback photos suggesting she was in Florida, these logs place her at a high-stakes lunch at a hotel near the network's headquarters. She wasn't dining with her sisters. She was dining with the head of development for new programming. The working title of the project discussed is reportedly Becky Means Business. But the concept is what makes this a knife in the back to Chuck. The pitch deck for the show allegedly frames Becky as the survivor of the Potthast toxic dynamic, the one woman who rose above the trash of her family to build a legitimate empire. To get this show greenlit, she reportedly has to prove she is not part of the lawsuit. She has to prove she is loyal to the corporation, not her blood. This puts every scene you see Becky in into a new perspective. When she rolls her eyes at Elizabeth, when she antagonizes Andrei, she is auditioning. She is creating footage for her sizzle reel. She is selling her family down the river to secure a producer credit on her own series. But the network is smart. They are using Becky. Sources say the contract for her spinoff contains a contingency clause. The show only goes into production if the Potthast family lawsuit is dismissed with prejudice. They have turned Becky into the enforcer. If she wants her dream, she has to make her father drop the case. She is being used to emotionally blackmail her own father. Now we need to talk about money. Why is the family so terrified of quitting? Why don't they just break the contract and pay the fine? We have obtained information regarding the specific liquidated damages section of the standard talent agreement for a show of this magnitude. It is not just a flat fee. It is a formula designed to destroy you. If the Potthasts walk away, they are allegedly liable for $50,000 per unauthorized missed filming day. That is $50,000 for every single day the crew is scheduled to shoot, but can't. Over a 6-week filming schedule, that totals over $2 million in immediate penalties. But it gets worse. There's a recoupment of investment clause. The network argues that they have invested millions in building the Potthast brand. If the family leaves, the network claims that investment is lost. They can sue for the estimated future value of the brand. We are talking about a lawsuit that could exceed $10 million. Chuck Potthast is a successful real estate investor, but he does not have $10 million in liquid cash to hand over to a media conglomerate. This is why we call it the TLC prison. The bars are made of debt. The financial ruin guaranteed by the contract is more terrifying than the humiliation of being on TV. They are working off a debt they can never repay, because every new season they sign adds more years to the term. This brings us to the wildest twist in this entire saga. The unexpected hero, Andrei. For years, Andrei has been painted as the villain, the mooch, the aggressive outsider trying to steal Chuck's money. But according to deep insider rumors, Andrei is the only one with a plan to save them. Andrei knows the network plays dirty, so he decided to play dirtier. We have received reports that Andrei has been secretly meeting with representatives from a rival streaming platform. Let's call them the streamer. Andrei is pitching a package deal. He is trying to sell the rights to the real story of the Potthast escape. Here's Andrei's master plan. He is gathering evidence. Remember how Andrei is always on his phone in the background of scenes? He isn't just scrolling Instagram. The theory is that he is recording audio. He is documenting the producers coercing the family. He is documenting the manipulation. He is building a dossier of labor violations that he intends to sell to a rival network for a documentary series exposing the reality TV industry. He wants to use the money from the rival network to pay off the exit penalties for the current network. It is a high-risk 4D chess move. He is trying to use one media giant to fight another. This explains why the network is trying so hard to destroy Andrei's character this season. Have you noticed the editing? They are zooming in on his angry expressions. They are using ominous sound effects every time he speaks. They are trying to devalue him. They know he is a threat. They want the audience to hate him so much that if he ever tries to speak out, no one will believe him. They are character assassinating him in real time to preemptively discredit his evidence. It is a smear campaign broadcast to millions of homes. The family is currently caught in a pincer movement. On one side, the network is squeezing them with the lawsuit and the motion to compel filming. On the other side, Becky is undermining them from within. And in the middle, Andrei is trying to execute a Hail Mary pass to buy their freedom. The stress we see on Elizabeth's face is not about her sisters. It is the stress of a woman watching her husband play a dangerous game of chicken with a billion-dollar corporation. She knows if Andrei misses, they lose everything. And what about the Frankenbites? This is a term in the industry where editors splice together different audio clips to make a cast member say something they never said. The lawsuit allegedly claims that the network has ramped up the use of Frankenbites to manufacture consent. The family claims that lines of dialogue have been fabricated to make it sound like they agreed to plot lines they actually refused. Imagine watching TV and hearing your own voice agree to a fight that you never wanted to have. It is gaslighting on a global scale. The court filing supposedly demands the raw masters, the unedited footage, to prove this fraud. But the network is fighting tooth and nail to keep those tapes sealed. If the raw footage comes out, it reveals the puppeteer's strings. The upcoming tell-all reunion is rumored to be the site of the final showdown. The network allegedly plans to serve Andrei with a cease and desist order live on stage. They want to capture his reaction on camera. They want to monetize the moment they legally gag him. But the family has a plan too. There are whispers that they plan to walk off the set in unison. A live on-camera strike. If they all walk off together, the network has no show. It is a game of who blinks first. Becky is the wild card. Will she walk off with her family? Or will she stay on the couch alone, ready for her close-up? We also have to consider the lifestyle clause. Many of these contracts demand that the talent maintains a certain lifestyle consistent with their character. For the Potthasts, that means visible wealth, nice cars, nice houses, constant parties. But the catch is production does not pay for these things. The family has to pay for them to keep their jobs. They are forced to spend money to look rich so they can stay on the show to make money. It is a cycle of consumption that drains their bank accounts. The lawsuit argues this is an illegal employment practice, essentially forcing employees to pay for their own workspace equipment without reimbursement. As we move toward the season finale, watch the eyes of the family members. Look for the moments when they break the fourth wall. Look for the glances at the camera crew that linger too long. They are looking at their jailers. The fights over the house-flipping business are a metaphor. They are fighting over bricks and mortar because their actual reality is fluid and controlled by someone else. They are desperate to build something real, something solid that cannot be edited away. This is not just about the Potthasts. This is about the future of entertainment. If the Potthast defense works, it could trigger a wave of lawsuits from reality stars across the globe. From the Housewives to the 90-Day Cast, everyone is watching Charles Potthast versus Sharp Entertainment. If Chuck wins, the contracts are void. If the network wins, the chains get tighter. We are watching a tragedy unfold in slow motion. A family that wanted fame found it, and realized too late that fame is a predator. They are trapped in a glass box, screaming for help, but the glass is soundproof and the audience is just clapping. Becky has chosen the side of the captors. Andrei has chosen the side of war. Elizabeth and Chuck are caught in the crossfire. This is the true story behind the screaming matches. It isn't dysfunctional. I panic. It is the sound of people realizing they signed a deal with the devil, and the devil has come to collect. We will continue to monitor the court docket. We have alerts set for any movement in the filing. If the Becky Means Business trademark is officially registered, we will know the betrayal is complete. If Andrei is suddenly fired or deported, we will know the network decided to silence him. The story is happening right now, and you are part of it. By watching, by commenting, you are driving up the value of the brand they are trapped in. So I have to ask you again, and I want you to really think about this before you comment. If you were offered $1 million today, but you had to sign a contract that gave a corporation the right to film your darkest moments, ruin your reputation, and turn your children against you for the next 15 years, would you do it? Is the price of fame worth the cost of your freedom? And what do you think of Becky? Is she a savvy businesswoman looking out for herself, or is she the ultimate traitor? Does Andrei deserve an apology from the fans for trying to save the family? Drop your theories in the comments below. I read every single one. If you have any insider tips, you know where to find me. Don't forget to like this video to help us break through the algorithm and expose the truth. Subscribe to 90 Day Fiancé Universe for the only updates that matter. We are watching the watchers. Stay tuned.